My sister posted on Instagram, family vacation in Aruba with 14 photos. 0 included me or my kids. When I commented, looks amazing, she replied, it's for close family only. I liked it and replied, congrats, hope you kept the receipts. See, I'd booked everything on my credit card as a gift. At 2 a.m. Aruba time, I called the resort. Update the payment method on the booking by sunrise. My sister posted again on Instagram, family vacation in Aruba. 14 photos in one carousel. Not a single one had me or my kids in it. There she was, my sister Brooke, standing in turquoise water with her husband and their 2 boys, my parents in matching linen shirts, my younger brother and his girlfriend on a sunset sail, kids buried in sand, tropical drinks, #family time. I was sitting in my patrol car on my dinner break, parked behind a closed strip mall, eating a cold burrito out of a Tupperware container. My kids were at home with their dad, still talking about, maybe next year we'll go to the beach with everyone. I stared at the screen for a solid minute before I did anything. I typed, looks amazing. She replied in under a minute, it's for close family only. Close family. My jaw actually locked. My thumb hovered over the screen. I could feel my pulse in my ears. Then I did something that probably confused the hell out of her. I liked her comment. Then I replied, congrats. Hope you kept the receipts because I had booked everything on my credit card. Flights, resort, airport transfer, all of it. My treat, early Christmas. I made the call at 2 a.m., Aruba time, when I knew they'd all be asleep from cocktails and sun. I called the resort. Hi, I said, giving the confirmation number I had memorized. I need to update the payment method on the booking. By sunrise, my sister's close family-only trip was still there, but my card wasn't. My name is Rebecca. I'm 39 years old, a patrol sergeant in a mid-sized city in Florida, divorced, 2 kids, Eli, 11, and Harper, 8. We live in a small 3-bedroom rental 20 minutes from the beach, if traffic is kind. My ex-husband and I split custody 50-50. We're not best friends, but we're not at war. We text about homework and soccer schedules. It works. My parents still live in the same suburb I grew up in. My sister Brooke lives 10 minutes from them in a big 2-story house with a pool. My younger brother Ryan rents their basement until he gets back on his feet, which has been about 6 years now. And then there's me, the cop with the stable job and good benefits. That's how they talk about it. Not like I'm a whole person. I'm a walking paycheck with a badge. It started small. A few years ago, my parents were behind on their mortgage. I slipped them $1,500, then another $800 a month later to catch up on utilities. When Brooke's husband's truck died, I co-signed for a used one and handed over $2,000 for the down payment. I paid for Ryan's DUI lawyer. I covered my parents' property tax 1 year when my dad missed the deadline. When Brooke wanted a big 60th birthday dinner for Mom at a fancy restaurant, I put the deposit on my card. You get points, Rebecca, they said. It's good for you too. It was always framed like I was helping myself somehow. Meanwhile, my kids quietly got the leftovers. They got invited to cousin days if someone remembered. They were in maybe half the family pictures, always on the edges. When Brooke posted her annual My Whole World collage last Thanksgiving, there were 8 photos. I was in one, blurry in the background. My kids weren't in any. Once, Harper drew a picture of the whole family for my parents. Everyone was labeled. Grandma, Grandpa, Aunt Brooke, Uncle Cole, my baby cousins. She drew herself and Eli holding hands with the rest of them. My mom smiled and said, "Oh, that's cute," and pinned it to the side of the fridge behind a takeout menu. The next time we came over, it was gone. I told myself it didn't mean anything, that my parents were forgetful, that Brooke was just self-absorbed. I kept paying for things, kept showing up, kept hoping they'd see Eli and Harper the way I did. Honestly, I should have known better. The Aruba trip was supposed to be my big olive branch, my big let's reset. I got my annual bonus in July. Cops don't make crazy money, but after 10 years, I get a decent stipend for overtime and specialty work. I'd been putting a chunk into savings every month. I had enough breathing room to do something big. Brooke had been in my ear for months. "We never do anything all together," she'd say. "You're never off work," my mom would add, like crime followed my schedule. Wouldn't it be nice for your dad's heart to relax somewhere warm? So when I saw a deal on a family package to Aruba, 7 nights, all-inclusive, kids stay free if they're under 12, I jumped. 3 rooms, 1 for my parents, 1 for Brooke and her crew, One for Ryan and his girlfriend, who he swore would still be around in 6 months. I put it all on my card. Think of it as a thank you for all the help with the kids, I told my parents in their kitchen. I'll cover lodging. You guys just handle your own flights. They balked at first, then I caved. Okay, I said. I'll book the flights too. You can pay me back when you can. No rush. I didn't mention that I wouldn't be going. We were short-staffed at the station. I'd already burned my vacation days that year on court dates, sick kids, and mandatory training. I ran the numbers 10 times. There was no way to get 7 consecutive days off in February without screwing my squad. It sucked. My kids took it hard. Why can't we go too? Harper asked, legs swinging off my couch. It's complicated, Bug, I said. Mom's schedule is weird. Eli, old enough to know when something smelled off, just stared at me. You're paying for everybody else to go, he said. But we're not going. Maybe we'll do our own trip later, I promised. Just us. I told myself I'd make it up to them. The group chat for Aruba exploded for weeks. Brooke sent packing lists and outfit ideas. My mom texted sunscreen questions like she'd never seen the sun before. Ryan bragged about how much he planned to drink at the swim-up bar. No one asked what my kids and I would be doing that week. 2 days before they flew out, I stopped by my parents' house with printed itineraries and a folder of confirmations, because if I didn't, my mom would swear she never got anything. On the kitchen table sat a stack of new beach towels embroidered with names. Cute, I said, picking one up. It read Grandma, Grandpa, Brooke, Cole, Owen, Liam, Ryan, Jenna. No Eli, no Harper, no Rebecca. I looked up. You didn't get towels for my kids. My mom didn't look up from the list she was making. Well, we were thinking this trip is more for the households that are going, she said. It's complicated with custody. We didn't want to step on any toes with their father. They're literally my kids, I said. There are no toes to step on. She shrugged. We'll do something for them later. Something later. I walked out of there with my throat tight and my mouth shut because the flights were booked. The rooms were paid for. It was too late to change things now. As Brooke loved to say whenever my parents did something hurtful and I dared to bring it up, don't make it a thing. So I swallowed it. That night, Eli and Harper stayed up late at my place watching beach videos on YouTube. Maybe next year, Eli said, his voice flat. Yeah, I said, maybe. I went to work the next morning on 4 hours of sleep. And that afternoon, on my dinner break, I saw the Instagram post. Her caption was long and sugary. Finally making memories with my whole family in paradise, with 3 heart emojis and a palm tree. She tagged my parents, tagged Ryan, tagged the resort, tagged the airline. She didn't tag me. There were my nieces and nephews building sandcastles, my parents in a cabana with cold drinks, my dad's belly out, my mom wearing a straw hat I recognized from the Target run I'd paid for, Ryan holding a plate of fresh fish up to the camera like he'd caught it himself. I zoomed in on one of the group shots. Brooke had made them all wear matching shirts, light blue, white script across the front. Walker Family Vacation 2025. I read it 3 times. Walker is my parents' last name. It used to be mine too, before I took my ex-husband's last name when we married. Long story. I switched back after the divorce. My kids kept their dad's last name. Close family. Brooke's comment said, close family only. I felt my stomach drop. Close family, as in married couples with shared last names, full-time grandkids who live in the right zip code, people who don't bring complicated kids and schedules into the picture. I typed, then deleted 3 different replies. One where I asked flat out, you know I paid for this, right? One where I tagged every photo asking where my kids were. One where I told her exactly what she could do with her matching shirts. Instead, I kept it calm. Congrats, hope you kept the receipts. I put the phone face down, finished my cold burrito, answered a shoplifting call, and mediated a neighbor dispute over a dog fence. But the words sat in my head like a stone. I kept seeing Harper's face when she saw the towels. Eli's eyes on those beach videos, the way my mom had said households that are going and complicated with custody, like we were the messy part of the family they had to work around. At midnight, I dropped my kids off at their dad's place. I hugged them, told them I loved them, drove back to my apartment, and sat on the edge of my bed, still in uniform. At 2 a.m. Aruba time, I made the call. The resort's hold music was some steel drum version of a pop song. I sat there with my notebook open, staring at the scribbled confirmation numbers I'd written down months ago. Thank you for holding. This is Carla at Guest Services. How may I help you? Hey, Carla, I said. My voice sounded calmer than I felt. I'm calling about a group reservation. I'm the primary cardholder. I need to change the payment method on file. She asked for the confirmation code. I read it out. I spelled my last name twice. She pulled it up. Yes, Ms. Walker, I see it here. 7 nights, 3 rooms, all-inclusive package. Right, I said. I need to remove my card as the primary payment method, effective immediately. She paused. Okay, so you want to cancel the reservation? No, I said. They can keep their rooms. I just don't want my card associated with any charges at all. Another pause. I could practically hear her doing the math. You're the one who paid the deposit, she said carefully. Yep, and I understand I won't get that back. Consider it a gift. But as of right now, I don't authorize any further charges to my card. I need a note on the booking that a new payment method will be required at check-in and for any incidentals. She hummed. I could hear typing. We can remove your card and flag the account, she said. They won't be able to check in tomorrow without putting down a new card. It may be awkward for them. I almost laughed. I can live with that. Can you email me confirmation that my card is removed? A few clicks. Yes, I've sent it to the address on file. Anything else? One more thing, I said. There are airport transfers booked under my name, charged to my card. Can those be canceled? She checked. They're within the 24-hour window, so they're non-refundable, but we can move the charge to the main room upon arrival. Do it, I said. 5 minutes later, my inbox pinged. Payment method removed. Card ending in 4412, no longer on file. I stared at the little green check mark like it was a lifeline. Then I opened my bank app. For years, I'd had 2 recurring transfers set up. $500 on the first of the month to my parents' joint account for bills. $200 every other Friday to a savings account I shared with Brooke and Ryan, labeled Family Fund. That account had paid for a new grill at my parents' house, a dishwasher when theirs broke, a weekend at Disney for Brooke's kids because it's once in a childhood. I canceled both transfers. The app asked, "Are you sure you want to stop this recurring payment?" Yes, I was sure. I redirected the $700 into a new savings account and labeled it Eli and Harper Trips. I took a screenshot. Balance, $0. Future transfer scheduled. I didn't send it to anyone. I just sat there, breathing all the way into my chest for the first time in months. I didn't call. I didn't text my sister to warn her. I went to bed. They landed in Aruba around noon the next day. I know because my mom posted a blurry airport selfie. Long day of travel, worth it for this view, with a palm tree and airplane emoji. My phone started buzzing about 40 minutes later. First, a call from my mom. I let it ring out. Then a text from Brooke. Why is the card declined? 10 minutes later. Answer your phone. Then, they're saying we can't check in without a card on file. What is going on? I was sitting in the briefing room at the station, half listening to the lieutenant talk about a new pursuit policy. My phone vibrated on the table like it wanted to crawl away. When I didn't reply, she escalated. This is not funny. Mom is freaking out. They're making Dad stand at the desk like he's in trouble. Fix this now. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb and slid it into my pocket. 2 hours later, during a lull between calls, I checked again. 10 missed calls, 16 texts across the family group chat and direct messages. My mom, "Honey, something's wrong with your card. The resort says it's not valid. Did the bank make a mistake? Can you please call them?" Then later, "They're asking us to put our own card down. Your father is very embarrassed. This isn't like you." Ryan, "What are you doing? They don't have room on their cards. You know that." Brooke again, "Are you seriously doing this now? We're already here." And then the one that told me everything I needed to know. Is this because I said close family on my post? OMG, you're being so dramatic. The kids didn't even see it. There it was, not "I'm sorry," not. That was crappy to say, not. Of course your kids are family, just you're being dramatic. I sat in my patrol car in the shade of an empty lot and typed my first and last reply. To answer your question, I wrote, "This is because you and Mom keep making it clear that my kids aren't part of the real family in your eyes." I paused, deleted half of what I wanted to say, then finished. "I'm not your backup bank. I won't fund a family my kids aren't part of. You have your close family with you. Use your own cards." I hit send. 3 dots blinked for a long time. Then Brooke replied, "Wow, so you're going to punish your own parents like this? After everything they've done for you?" I blocked the group chat. I blocked Brooke's number. I left my parents' line open, but turned off notifications. For the rest of my shift, I answered noise complaints, wrote reports, and broke up a bar fight between 2 grown adults arguing over a parking spot. Every time my radio crackled, I listened. Every time my phone buzzed, I ignored it. When my shift finally ended, I didn't drive home. I drove to the little travel agency next to the laundromat, the one with fading brochures in the window. "Hey," I said to the woman behind the desk. Her name tag read Carmen. "I need something for a long weekend. Somewhere drivable. 2 kids, 1 mom, nothing fancy." She flipped open a binder like it was 1998 and started circling cabins and beach motels within a 3-hour drive. I picked a small rental on a usually ignored stretch of coast 2 hours north. 3 nights, off-season discount, small kitchenette, shared fire pit. The total came out to about what 1 night at the Aruba resort cost. I put it on the same card I'd just freed up. The fallout from Aruba didn't hit all at once. From what I gathered later, through my cousin and some passive-aggressive Facebook posts, they ended up putting my parents' 1 remaining credit card on file at the resort. The limit was low. They spent the week arguing at the front desk about incidental charges and pre-authorizations. My mom posted almost nothing after that first airport selfie. No sunset photos. No "my whole world" captions. Back home, my cousin Jess texted me from a number I'd forgotten I had. "Just so you know, we heard what Brooke said on that post. It wasn't okay. We were talking about it at Grandma's." Then another message. "Your kids are absolutely family. If you ever do a cousin's trip with them, invite me first." I sat in my car outside my apartment and read that twice. I hadn't realized how badly I needed someone else to say it. My parents, meanwhile, chose their usual script. A week after they got home, my mom called. I answered this time. "Hi, Mom." She sighed like she was already exhausted. "I don't even know where to start, Rebecca. That was humiliating. Your father was standing at that desk like he was irresponsible. You know we can't afford those holds on our accounts." "You could if you stopped going out to dinner 4 times a week," I said before I could stop myself. She huffed. "We're not talking about that attitude right now. We're talking about what you did." "What I did," I repeated. "Not what you said. Not what Brooke said." "That Instagram thing," she said dismissively. "You know, your sister jokes around. You always take things so personally. This was a once-in-a-lifetime trip. You ruined it." There was a long silence. "Mom," I said finally, "did you notice anything missing from the towels or the shirts?" She hesitated. "We weren't trying to exclude the kids. It was just easier that way. Their last name is different, and your situation is complicated." "Complicated," I repeated. "I'm not having this conversation again," she said. "Family doesn't do this to each other. Cut people off. Embarrass them over money. Your father is hurt. I'm hurt." I could hear my dad muttering in the background. "Ask Dad something for me," I said. "What?" "Ask him if he remembers how many months I've been sending you $500 for bills. Ask him who paid the property tax. Ask him whose card that resort almost charged into the ground." "We never asked you to," she said. "You did," I cut in, my voice calm. "Sometimes directly, sometimes with hints. But you did, and I did it because I thought we were all in this together." I took a breath. "But I'm not going to keep pouring my paychecks into a family that treats my kids like they're part-time." "That's not fair," she snapped. "It's exact," I said. "From now on, you're off my accounts. No more monthly money, no more vacation cards. If you want to see us, you can call and make plans. But I'm done funding things my kids are excluded from." Her voice went cold. "So that's it. You're cutting us off like strangers." I looked at the framed drawing on my wall, Harper's picture of all of us at the beach, a place we hadn't even been yet. "I'm protecting my kids," I said. "You can call it whatever you want." She started to say something, then stopped. The line went quiet. We hung up without saying goodbye. The first weekend of March, I loaded the trunk of my old SUV with 2 beat-up suitcases, a cooler, and a bag full of dollar store sand toys. Eli insisted on bringing his football. Harper brought half her stuffed animals. We drove 2 hours north along the coast, stopping once for gas station snacks and once because Harper had to pee right now. The cabin wasn't fancy. The kitchen linoleum peeled a little. The couch sagged. The ocean view was more peak of water if you stood on the picnic table. But the sand was clean, the water was quiet, and there was a fire pit with a ring of plastic chairs, 3 of them. We spent the first afternoon building lopsided sandcastles and letting the kids get soaked in their clothes because I forgot how fast they ran for the water. That evening, after grilled cheese on paper plates, Eli and I dragged 2 of the plastic chairs closer to the waterline. "Why are you leaving that one up there?" Harper asked, pointing to the lone chair still by the fire pit. "Saving it," I said. "For who?" I shrugged. "Maybe for another time." We sat there as the sky turned orange, then pink, then dark blue. "Is this a vacation?" Harper asked, snuggled into my hoodie. "Yeah, Bug," I said. "This is our vacation." "Even if it's not fancy?" Eli asked. I looked at him. He wasn't being ungrateful. He was checking the rules, figuring out if this counted. Especially because it's not fancy, I said. No one can uninvite us from it. He smirked a little. Later, back inside, Harper pulled out a notebook and some markers. She sat at the little table by the window, tongue poking out of the corner of her mouth. "What are you making?" I asked. "Our family vacation," she said, "so I can put it on my wall." When she finished, she handed it to me. It was us, just the three of us, standing on a lumpy yellow beach with blue squiggles for waves. She'd drawn the 2 plastic chairs we sat in. Behind us, near a square labeled cabin, was a single empty chair. I raised an eyebrow. "That one's for Grandma and Grandpa if they want to come next time," she said. "If they're nice." I swallowed. "Yeah," I said quietly, "if they're nice." When we got home Sunday night, sunburned and smelling like campfire, my phone had a few missed calls from my mom. 1 voicemail. I didn't listen to it. Instead, I taped Harper's drawing to the fridge. Monday morning, I set my alarm early, made lunches, and drove the kids to school. On the way, Eli said, "That was better than Aruba anyway." "You've never been to Aruba," I said, amused. He shrugged. "Don't need to. We had you." I dropped them off and watched them walk inside, backpacks bumping against their shoulders. On my way to the station, I stopped at the bank. I signed the final papers to remove my name from the old family fund account. The teller stamped something and slid me a copy. "Anything else today, Sergeant Walker?" she asked. "No," I said. "That's everything." When I walked out into the sunlight, my phone buzzed. A text from my cousin Jess. "Saw your kids' beach pics. They look so happy. Next time I'm bringing my girls." I smiled. Next time, I thought, we'll bring more chairs. For now, 3 was enough. The empty ones would stay empty until someone decided my kids were worth more than a towel and a matching shirt. If that never happened, that was fine too. We had our own beach now, our own drawing on the fridge, our own definition of family. And I was finally done paying for anyone else's.